I'm so pleased to be talking with my friend and fellow coach, Lori Raggio, today. How are you, Lori?
Great. It's so nice to see you. I enjoyed being with you in person last week tremendously.
What a joy. It was so wonderful to get to be in your presence and just be around you
Mhm.
after us having so many conversations
Yeah.
over Zoom during all this time. And it was just such a lovely experience. Thank you
Mm.
for taking the trek out to
Yeah.
Connecticut.
I loved
um,
it.
So for people that haven't met Lori yet, I just want to share that you are a coach and the founder of Inspired Greatness Coaching and Consulting. This is You are the co-author of a chapter in Be the Beacon,
Yes.
or you're a co-author of Be the Beacon, and
Yes.
your chapter is called Find Your Geographical Soulmate.
Yes.
So I'd love for you can either dive into reading the portion
Yeah.
or just talk a little bit about what this concept of a geographical soulmate is.
Yeah. The concept is really that as we look at, especially women entrepreneurs, at our health. So we look at our emotional health, our physical health, our spiritual health. And I think now we all typically know that those are so important to the success of our life and our business. And my feeling is that there's another component, and that is our geographical health.
Mm.
And so I've coined the phrase geographical soulmate, that there are these locations, could be more than one, where you just know you belong. And sometimes there's this strong pull from
Mhm.
your heart and your soul. So people come to their geographical soulmate in so many different ways. But once you're there and you experience the connection, and it's really more a connection to the land, to the people, to the topography, that your life can just be so different.
Mm. And I know the first time that I heard you talking about this, it really resonated with me very strongly, because I live a couple miles from where I was raised. And for
Yeah.
me, this is that soulmate, right? And
Yeah.
even when I had times in my life where I didn't, I had transitions of whole friends groups and, all, different things, I I could I still wanted to be here,
Yeah.
right? Like there was
Yeah.
something about being in my home and near the land. It was actually the land that I would think of, like walking through the
Yes.
forest, being by a stream in the forest, right? That I
Yes.
felt called to.
Yeah.
Um, and my father also, he talks about getting his desert fix, that he
Yeah.
has to go out, to the Grand Canyon every year, or something feels missing in his life if he doesn't get
Yeah.
out there. So it's like, whoa, but I never had a name for that. I never
Yeah.
understood what to
Yeah.
call that.
Right. Right. Well, and being in Connecticut, I mean, I lived in Maryland, so I lived in the Northeast before I moved to Arizona, and that I loved some of the seasons. I could do without the winter, but just seeing, in Connecticut and then Massachusetts, as I was visiting with my son, I mean, the trees were beautiful.
Mm.
And to see that, we did a lot of driving, over a short period of time. And so just to be in that part of the country
Mhm.
felt good, felt comfortable, but I definitely had this need to come back to the heat, the warmth, the sun, and the desert. It was just this, I kind of liken this to how you feel about your human soulmate. That if you're away from them for too long, you have this real pull
Mm.
to go back, to get
Mm.
together, to have the connection with them. It's the same kind of feeling, I think, for your geographical soulmate.
Mm. I just love this concept so much. And it seems like it would be if someone felt like everything was off, but they couldn't really describe why they felt,
Yeah.
in our coaching conversation, right? When we've worked with a
Right.
lot of different clients, sometimes there's people that have different, like, I've got a job I like, I have a partner I like, I have, these, financially I'm doing great, but something feels missing or out of
Yes.
whack. I think this is such an interesting thing to look at that
Yeah.
might not even be on people's radar
Right.
to
It
investigate.
isn't typically, or they know if they've been to a place or places that they just are like so like in love with. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it,
Right.
but they might not think of it as being so important to
Mhm.
really take the steps, take the risks to actually move.
Right.
So I was
Mhm.
recently, when I was visiting with my son, I was talking to him and I said, so do you like it here? Like, do you love it here? He's like, no, I really don't. I said, so where are you going to go? And it was the first time we in 26 years had this kind of a conversation. And by the end of the 3 days with him, he's like, Mom, I think I need, talk his girlfriend, Hillary. I think we need to talk about the timeline. Like,
Mm.
where are we going to go next? Like where, and it was just so fascinating,
Mm.
for him to realize, yeah, this is okay, but this is not where I want to be. So I need to start planning that, just like he's planning graduate school, just like he's planning a family,
Mhm.
yeah.
And I'd love to hear the portion of the
Yeah.
chapter you picked out for us.
Yeah. So do you believe in soulmates? Do you have a soulmate? Soulmates come into our lives at various times for various reasons. Before we and our human soulmate meet in the physical realm, our energies have been looking for opportunities to connect. Likewise, our geographical soulmate has been yearning for our arrival. It's possible that we have various geographical soulmates depending on what lessons we need to learn while on our transformational journey. Source will introduce you to your geographical soulmate when you are emotionally, physically, and spiritually ready. Our geographical soulmate consists of soul places that profoundly change our life. The journey to finding one's geographical soulmate is as important, if not more important, than finding it. The process is one of metamorphosis, a journey of being and becoming, and transformation.
Thank you so much for reading that. Like, how could anyone not read that entire chapter? Go find it right now. And I know in the chapter too, you walk through
Yes.
how, different ways to explore this. Like, and
Yeah.
I love too that you share from your own personal example. Here's what it means for me, right?
Yes.
You share the concepts, the way that people can find this geographical
Mhm.
soulmate for themselves, and you share from you giving the example. Okay, and here's what
Right.
my
Yes.
and here's what it provides for me. And I know that you also help people with this, because sometimes it's just more fun to talk it through with someone else
Yes.
rather than do
Yes.
the exercise on your own. And that's
Yeah.
something you do with people, right?
I do. I
Yeah,
do.
that's
It's, some people are interested just in this piece, or it's that they're already, involved in a coaching relationship with me. And this is a part of that. So it's
what
just become a part of a discussion, just like anything else with my coaching
Mhm.
clients.
Mhm. And I know you have an idea
Yes.
for bringing this together and you've in a book collaboration.
Yes.
Can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit about what you'd like that to look like?
Sure. So I did approach you, Elizabeth, a couple of weeks back, just to say that it would be amazing to bring people who have found their geographical soulmate and kind of what that has brought to their lives and to their businesses and to their careers, and or people who are really still in the journey
Mm.
of finding. Because I would say in the last year or so, more conversations that I'm having, people are moving. They're taking the time to make that a priority in their lives.
Mhm.
Um, and it's all different for each person, as to why a particular location. But I think it would be a wonderful book collaboration for people to tell those stories.
and really cool from as a reader to read about people's journeys through it so they could, I
Yes.
know one thing I've coached people through is moving. You know, I had one
Mhm.
client that moved from New York City all the way out to California, and she knew she had a longing to do it, but it was so terrifying, right? And
Yes,
I've coached other people through this process of how do you leave everything and go somewhere else, right? So it is a big leap,
it
and
is.
it's and on the other side they're so grateful that they did it,
Yes, that they did
right?
it.
It's
Yes.
completely transforms their life. So
Yeah.
it would be inspiring to people that might be in that situation to
Right.
read that story of where
Mhm.
and how people make it work, because it could be a move or it might not be a total move.
Right.
It might be
Yeah.
that they go visit it, well, you know, once a
Yeah.
year and surround their home with,
Yeah.
right, like pictures of that place. And also, I mean, I'm always floored by the transformation that people get while writing, because
Yes.
people often figure things out during the course of writing the chapters with me, which I just
Absolutely.
love. So
Absolutely.
it would be interesting too to have people sharing about, okay, I don't know where it is right now, but
Mhm.
let me like
Yeah.
write
Let me
through
explore
this
it.
process and
Yeah.
see what comes up at the end of
Right.
that would be really neat
Yeah.
as well. People that just want to explore it. And
Absolutely. Well, and I think even the transformation that happens during the exploration, because so many people will say, oh, yes, I do know where I'd like to be, but I can't because, you know, finances, family, other obligations, career, all these things. And so even working through that
yeah,
is transformational.
yes, absolutely. So how do people get in touch with you if they would like to learn more about your work, if they'd like to
Yeah.
do the, you know,
Yeah. Right now, the best way is either through LinkedIn, under Lori Raggio, or through email. The website is under construction. So hopefully by the end of the year, that will
mhm,
be in an amazing place. So those would really, at this point, be the best places and the best way to get a hold
excellent.
of me.
Thank you so much for taking the time
Oh,
to
thank you, Elizabeth.
such
Yeah.
a joy. Take care, Lori.
Bye.
Bye.